Dearest, beautiful souls. Oh my gosh, what joy it is to get in this moment of connection with you. We say this constantly, but it is worthy of repeating because it is the main message. It's the message of love. By simply coming into this space of the field of connection of oneness, the channel is filled with love. We, of course, reside mostly in a dimension that has that connection, has that love. As soon as he makes the connection, he's filled with love for you. And with you to find that happiness, that joy, that fulfillment of love in everything you do. That's why we make these messages. Because guess what? More love leads to more love. And it doesn't matter if you're the one experiencing or if the channel Peter is the one experiencing it. We're all in this field together. And so that everybody experiences it. So thank you. Thank you for just being who you are and being open to having the field of love that you are expand. Today, we're going to talk about doing things when you're nervous about doing them. You see, the channel Peter is very nervous about this channel. He's going on vacation, so he wanted to put a few in the can. And normally things come to him that are timely, and he asks us about them and he asks us to speak. And we do, of course. And it's beautiful because his journey is your journey in many ways. You're all going through the same stimulus, the same kinds of things at this time. But he's nervous because he needed to put a couple of these away. And he didn't have a topic, he didn't have anything up. So I said, okay, we're going to trust that you, Spirit, are just going to come through. And we can, and we are, and we're here. And this whole channel is a metaphor of whether or not you trust. See, that's what the game is now, isn't it? See, when you're in 3D, you practice intent as a form of manifestation. You go through certain rituals. If I say the right words, cast the right spell, do the right things, if I work hard, I'll be rewarded, all that stuff. You use your intent. Then as you learned more about consciousness, you started to see that intent was something you could focus outward. You can hold the intent of things happening and they would start to happen. That's beautiful, beautiful 3D manifestation. But now you're moving into 5D. It's a whole different world out there because it's no longer so much intent as it is allowance, allowing for the world you desire to come to you. You still have the desire. That's still the motivating force. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, you don't desire, you can't have things. You know, you should only desire the good things. No, desire whatever you want because fulfillment will teach you the lesson and you'll learn the wisdom of what happens when you're fulfilled that way. So desire whatever you want so you're done with that kind of fulfillment. And you'll say, okay, I got that, now what? So there's no message here about you're wrong for desiring this, only world peace and harmony. Well, yeah, of course we all want that, but those of us who are still figuring out how to get there often do it through conflict. Hence Earth being a school, a very fast school, because there's so many different people with so many different beautiful growth opportunities that they create for each other, how they interact, including your wars. The channel was so surprised when he heard somebody talk about the war that's going on in Russia and Ukraine, because he's been so out of touch with the news because he's so focuses on just what's coming spiritually and what he wants to create and manifest. He's like, is that war still going on? And it's kind of funny that there are constant wars, but less than there've ever been on this planet because the consciousness will not allow it. And without getting into who or what or right or wrong or any of that, where's your focus? Are you still putting it on that war? Or are you putting it on, oh, there's this other stuff going on in the field, but I can still create what I choose by focusing on what gives me joy, my ascension, my connection, all those beautiful things. And that is how you create. And you don't create by so much using your intent anymore. Yes, you have your intent, but you create by allowing what's in the field to come to you. You see, it's a hard concept to wrap your mind around, the idea that it all already exists. It's been done. It has. But the beauty of it is that consciousness breaks that into time for you. So you can go through the journey and have the moments and the joys and the experiences. Because if you're just in the all everything state, you're the Godhead, right? And it's wonderful and it's blissful. It doesn't have the same kind of pizzazz, shall we say, of being in the moment of an experience that you're experiencing. It could be difficult, but some people enjoy succeeding when there's a challenge. Channel Peter used to love to river raft, did it many, many times, had the opportunity to actually row down the Grand Canyon. And it was so wonderful for him because of the challenge it presented. Waves that were bigger than the boat. And to live through it and swim through some of it too is just an idea of sometimes when things that seem difficult are quite exciting. So we do not judge, and we're not asking you to judge, oh, this is the good stuff and this is the bad stuff. No, your heart will always guide you. But the point is, can you be guided by allowing rather than intending? So many teachers have spoken of time space versus space time. Here we are in 3D. We have 3 dimensions of space, right? Width, length, height, and 1 dimension of time. It just moves in one single direction. Now we could look backwards or forwards with memory, but it's pretty much 3 directions of space and 1 direction of time. Now, this explanation is not completely adequate, but it's a good one for many people on the planet who are grappling with this. Now, consider the opposite, where you have time space, where there's 3 dimensions of time and 1 dimension of space, past, present, and future. And you move in a direction. So if you were in time space, your movement through space then determines where you are in that time. And that's the reality you create. So many teachers like Joe Dispenza, who the channel studied a lot, talks about the void. It's a blackness. He calls it a blackness, and the nothingness, where it's all time and all space, or as he calls it, no time and no space. And when you're in that kind of reality, then whatever you hold in your consciousness then comes to you, or you move to it, as the case may be. Another teacher that Peter spent time with was Ramtha. And Ramtha talked about the blue grid, the underpinning of everything, the substance of the space, what it's made out of, the energetics of it. Some of you call it in science the quantum field. He called it the blue grid because it was the blue as he saw it. And once you see it, you can throw things into it and then they come to you. These were the first manifestation skills Peter learned. So there's many ways to describe it and get at it. The whole idea is that you're getting to a place where you move a certain thing in your consciousness and space and time changes around you. The key is allowing it, at least for this level of understanding. Because you don't really move towards it in the void, it comes towards you. The thing is, when you're in that expansive state, the blue grid, the no time, no space, the blackness, whatever you call it, when you're in that, then whatever you're holding is your attraction point. So your unconscious beliefs determine most of your reality anyway. You don't see it as that, but it's built by consensus that you actually have agreement. Sky is blue, this is that, and you understand it that way. But when you're in a bigger space, the time space, when you're in that bigger consciousness, it's not that you move towards something with your intent, it comes to you based on the energetic frequency of what you're holding. And that's why we're in this 4D state where we're not quite in 5D yet, where manifestation is slower because we still have a lot of unconscious blockages, a lot of negativity. If I don't deserve this, a lot of anger and pain. So if we just had all our desires manifest, all our unconscious would manifest too. Monsters of the id, they used to call it in old science fiction movies. But reality, they're just programs that are just sitting there, energetic frequencies that as you grow in your consciousness, you can say to your unconscious, okay, let me let these out. That's why we always talk about the clearing processes that are so important, because the way you let them out is to physically express them. They're held in your body, the energetic patterning, and you have to then release it through how emotion is expressed: sound, voice, anger, movement. It may mean kicking a few chairs. It may mean yelling. It may mean crying, whatever it is for you. And then your divine can come in and replace with better programming because you've opened the door, you've released the pressure, you're letting out the old programming. Then you don't even need to say what you want. You just say, okay, Spirit, give me something auspicious to fill this space. And then it does, and you're filled and you're in a higher place. And then your unconscious tracks more to you that's more happy and more better. And this works on so many different levels. It's a matter of how you have the ability to focus. Now, on the higher dimensions, consciousness is able to actually move from point to point simply by holding the frequency. Right now, this channel, he can speak to any entity that can name the frequency of the name. Now, it's not like a word name. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's like a color pattern or a sound or whatever it is for the dimension that that entity is from, that it represents itself. And if you know that, you can speak to it. So he can choose and ask who I would like to speak to. Of course, he's always interested in the great masters, the Christ, Archangel Michael, any of the ones that are commonly interacting with Earth. He's very excited and happy about just mentioning their names. He tingles. And you can do that too by knowing the frequency of it. That's what moves you through time and space, moves you to the location of where you want to be. Now, for example, the higher dimensional beings that you would call ETs, many of them have light ships. And it's kind of like in your movie Dune, where the navigators can see a path, but it's not really seeing a path. It's holding the frequency of the time and space where they would like to move their ship. And whew, bam, it's there because it has that consciousness of holding that frequency. Now, your planet right now, Earth, is flooded with these ships. We don't see them because they're in a higher dimensional vibration. And that's why there's so much call, raise your vibration, raise your vibration. So many beautiful things happen: the equinox, the solstices, all the portals that are opening, all the collectives from planets and realms that are sending you light and love to help you raise your vibration. Now you have to do your part, of course, and we call that clear, clear, clear. Meditation, breath work is also important. Those kinds of things raise your vibration. And then you can connect with all these beautiful entities. So your planet is flooded with them, but you don't see them at this point. Yet they come to you by holding a coordinate, so to speak. In other words, the name of the time and the space they want to be there. Now you can do this with your consciousness. Peter does it when he talks to entities. Those of you who have developed the remote viewing skills do this with your consciousness going to a place rather than to a person. Right? You can do this to a time. Okay, let me remote view, the fall of Troy. And then you can be there and see that because it's all available. It's all literally is all now. All of it exists now. And you have to have the right frequency to get to it. So we're here to tell you that if you're nervous about it, then that's what you're generating. We're here to tell you it's all okay. Be calm and know that you're taking your steps to increase your connectivity. And you don't even need to know what those steps are. In this message, Peter did not have any idea what we were going to speak about until he got the courage to sit down and say, okay, I need to make a recording. Let's go. Spirit, your turn. Speak to me, higher self. And here we are. So it's always like that. So when you have the fear and the doubt, then of course that's in the field and that's what you manifest. So you wonder why things don't come to you slowly. Now we then tend to curse ourselves and then to say, oh, I don't do this, or I have trouble expressing my emotion, or I can't, or whatever you say. And your language is so powerful. It's either a blessing or a curse, and you're giving it all the time because it is your external creation. Now, like we said earlier, just changing your words, saying a new spell isn't going to change things instantly because there's that lag that's important because so many people still are so backlogged with trapped emotion and unconscious programming. And really, awakening is just simply seeing the consciousness of who you are, the programming that you have, the emotions you're still holding trapped. It doesn't happen all at once. This channel is very far along in his path, but he's only just started. And you look at the whole scheme of things, but he's doing beautiful and you're doing beautiful. So you start on your path and you start to notice, okay, these are my blockages, these are my programs, and you make some effort at it. And it starts to clear and you start to see how you're programmed. That literally is the awakening process, seeing who you are, self-realization. Because you know what happens when you're self-realized? You're God realized. Because that's who you are. That's who you're going to see when you dig deeply into yourself. All the layers of separation from those trapped emotions. That's what blocks you off. The trapped emotions cut you off from your source. Then you build up mental sets of, oh, well, this is the way it is, or I feel this way, or I act that way to make it okay. Those are just like whistling in the dark, telling stories to deal with your limp or your pain or your disability, which is really just the trapped energy. Ah, so there you have it. You don't have to be nervous. You can go into it with anticipation and excitement, going, I'm going into the unknown. I don't know what my next step is. Let me jump in and think about it. When we were speaking earlier, the blue grid of the no time, no space, the no thing, blackness. That really is the unknown. But it really is everything. And it is known. You just haven't focused on it yet. Well, there you have it. Lots to ponder, lots to really play with as you grow. This is your awakening. You are doing it just by attending this message, just by being in the planet, in the field. You can do it more actively if you choose by contemplating, reflecting, and then clearing what blockages you find, those emotions that are still been trapped in you. Many, many tools are offered on Peter, the channel's website. His wife has started to join him now so they can double the amount of sessions they do because she has all the skills he has. And she's ready to share them now. So please, if you're ready, this is your time to grow and expand. Thank you. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for the courage you have that got you this far in your journey. And now we're here to say, step into the unknown. It's not as scary as you think. It's only your mental sets that have made it scary. And those mental sets will give you what you find there. Many people contact the channel. Oh, I had an experience when I was 8 and a ghost showed up, or an alien showed up, or this entity showed up and I was scared and that was it. We didn't have the tools and resources at those times to understand this is how connection works. We were more open as children, but we were programmed to be frightful. And so now it's your chance to say, okay, fear, you're welcome here. Okay, all the stuff I was worried about, you're welcome here. And then you clear it internally and you no longer have to manifest it externally because it's out of the field, it's off the planet. That's where you are. So be nervous, be as nervous as you can be. Just be it, feel it, allow it, let it come through you, over you. Then enjoy the fact that you are creating it. That's the key, taking ownership. I created this. I am the master of my experience. So if you're seeing it around you, know how powerful you are, that you are building that beautiful creation. And then put your focus on what makes you happy. Is it a war? Or is it your ascension and connection? And that's the place you'll live. Many, many blessings to you. Hello, I'm Peter D. Thank you so much for viewing this message. I'm humbled by everything that's happened since I've been working to share ascension and awakening with people. And I'd like to invite you to come on that train too. The simplest thing you can do is please like and subscribe this video. That will help the YouTube algorithm put this video in front of more people so the message will get out there. And of course, you just carrying the beautiful energy that you are is the most amazing thing you can do for uplifting the planet. So thank you for being that. Thank you for sharing your beautiful time with me on this video. And if you feel motivated, I'm grateful to accept any donation you choose to give. Please see below for links. It'll help. Stay blessed.